Yeah. Okay, we're live. This is the OSRA Daily Scrum for Friday, November 28th, 2014. Here with me are Craig, Pavel, and Robbie. So let's, seeing as how it's Friday night, let's keep it short and sweet and go around the room. Robbie, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So I think I got my Git setup sorted out. So I just really went back to scratch and brought everything in again and redid the changes. And it seems to be okay now then, Nick, yeah?
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
Brian and Craig both left. Both said everything looked fine to them too, so I merged it in today.
Okay. I just wanted to check the whole process. So in general, the process is that you create a branch and then work on that branch, associated with your user story, and then you push the branch to your GitHub repository and then create a pull request from that GitHub repository over to the main OSRA repository. And then at some point, Nick, you fold that in, you merge that in with the development or the develop branch on the OSTRA site, and then finally I would bring that down, the latest changes on the OSTRA site, develop into my local machine, and at some point later delete the branch. Is that the way it works? Yeah.
That's exactly correct, yes.
Right. Okay. That's good. Okay. So the other thing I have been doing is looking at the fixture stuff for organizations, and
Right.
so I've changed a number of things, and but I have come up with some issues, and as a result of those issues, I've really been wondering: is it the right sort of thing to do to move from factories to fixtures here? Because it is causing a few idiosyncratic things. So I would be keen to just spend a session with maybe yourself, Nick, and whoever else wants to join to go over that and talk about whether you want to still go ahead with changing fixtures, and if we do, how we resolve some of the issues that have come up, particularly with some of the cucumber feature specs.
Okay.
So maybe after the scrum or something like that, if you're free, Nick.
Yeah, that should work for me as long as we wrap up the scrum in a reasonable time.
Okay, that's about it for me.
Okay. Craig?
Not much from me. I've got a PR in, and I then need to think about what my next thing is after that. Possibly more work on a similar theme. And for anyone who's going to look at that PR, it would be nice if we could work out if people are unhappy with things or want things to change, whether they want it to change for that PR or as part of a subsequent PR, because there's going to be a handful of these going in as we do the refactoring, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's a big job, I guess.
Yep.
Any way we can split it up into smaller tasks, we win. Okay. So I'll just say quickly that I haven't done very much today. I still have this story outstanding. The orphan uniqueness validation and the blocker is still the same thing. I'm trying to, I haven't actually spent a lot of time on it today, so I need to sit down and work out how to integrate the orphan model validations into the import workflow. And it is going to be, again, a quick kind of patch job because Craig is reworking the entire process. I also merged in Robbie's pull request, as we discussed, and the other thing that I did was yesterday when I was demoing OSRA testing our development server to Alex and Viv, we couldn't create sponsorships. And after digging through the logs today, I realized that the problem was that we had sponsor records sitting in the database that had been created some time ago, but since then we'd introduced the city field, which is mandatory. So all those sponsor records were actually invalid in the database, and that's why any manipulation on them was failing. But thankfully there were only 3 of them. I put in cities by hand, and now everything seems to be working. The other thing I saw in the logs was that somehow, and I don't think it was when I was doing things, when I was demonstrating the application, I think it was somebody else later doing something else on that server. The server was running out of memory. And if it was any of the people present here, I would like to hear what it is that you were trying to do.
It wasn't me.
Yeah. Okay.
How much memory does one of those servers have, Nick?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
I haven't been using. This is on the Heroku server, Nick, because I haven't been on that. No, I haven't been using it at all.
Okay. So, considering last night's events, I suspect that it's either Alex or Viv that were doing that, but I'm just curious what it is that they were trying to do to create that issue. And that's it for me. So on the agenda is OSRA 264. I need to finish that story and send it to the client as quickly as I can.
It is worth noting, based on what you've said, as a reminder, once we go to production, if we're doing migrations with compulsory fields, it's not just a case of migrating the database, it's a case of also writing code that turns old records into valid records.
Yeah, very much so, yes. Which I guess is why it's really nice to have the database, the schema more or less locked down by the time you go to production, but of course that's unlikely to happen.
Well, and I need to talk about foreign keys as well at some point. I'll post a link. We need to change how the schema works in Rails if we start using foreign keys.
You mean the constraints?
Yeah, if we put foreign key constraints in, the standard schema file doesn't reconstitute those when you create a database, and it's whether we're happy with that.
Okay.
Or not. But I'll post a link, and people can read it and then give opinions on it, and then we can make a decision.
Okay, sounds good.
Just on the subject database, I did bring down everything from scratch again onto my machine, and it did run a DB create and migrate, and I ended up with a schema file, schema.rb, which was different from the one I had brought down from GitHub. I'm not sure whether that's significant or not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think that you did, probably because in your pull request that file would have shown up as being different.
I didn't. I took it out. I overwrote it with the checked it out again from the develop master one. So
I mean, if that happens again, run a diff.
Yeah, I did run a diff. And,
do you know what the difference was?
I can't remember.
I guess you can do it right now, probably, can't you?
I could
because
do.
if you still have the branch, your feature branch.
I could run a rake db migrate.
Yeah.
Have you done any migrations yourself?
No.
Okay. I mean, sometimes if people when they're working on something and they create a migration and then they roll it back and then they run the migration again and roll it back, that can cause issues where the schema file doesn't match.
Okay. Yeah, so I've just run the rake db migrate again. It's come up with a different schema file, and I have to do git diff. So it's coming up with T integer request orphan count, T boolean request fulfilled, T integer agent ID, T string payment plan, T string city.
Can you just share your screen there?
Yeah, hang on, let me take.
You know what? I wonder if this is the consequence of that, the problem that we had with schema version numbers. If this is somehow being impacted by that.
Is that showing up okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, we can see.
Does anybody recognise that? Is that one of yours, Nick? The city is, isn't it? You did.
City is, agent is, payment plan is Brian's. Sorry, but is that what I'm seeing? Plus, minus? That payment
Well, they're the
plan?
same, aren't they? They're just that they're not.
Yeah.
It's not read it properly, if you see what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, so you've stuck city in.
You know, I really think that this is where this is coming from, because Brian and I were working at the same time that we were having those problems, and we were basically manually assigning version numbers to our migrations.
Well, I mean, if that stuff's missing out of the schema, should that stuff be in the schema? Shouldn't it?
But wait a minute, if I'm understanding this diff correctly, the only difference is that payment plan moves from before city to after city, right?
Oh, yes. Yep, you are reading it right. I was reading it wrong.
So
it makes no difference whatsoever.
Yeah, it makes no difference, but I think we might be running into this issue going forward every single time. So at some point, somebody should just push the updated schema together with their PR. Again, well, assuming that everybody's version numbers are the same.
Did you drop the DB and recreate it from a migrate there, Robbie?
No, I just did a DB migrate, rake DB migrate.
Okay, so just do rake DB drop. Rake DB create and rake DB migrate. Sorry. RM remove the schema file. RM DB schema. And then do a rake DB migrate.
Wouldn't this process have recreated the schema from scratch, Craig?
Yeah.
I mean, even if you didn't remove the file?
No, because if it's the same migration number, I think it goes off migration number. So that's what I was trying to say in a very poor way before. If you're developing and you do a rake DB migrate and then a rake DB rollback and then change it and then do another migrate, it won't trigger a change to the schema file because it's the same version.
Mm-hmm. Understood.
So that schema file is as it was there.
That's a bonus. So I would create a pull request for that, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then that should just deal with it once and for all.
Yep.
You look after that, Craig, will you? Yeah.
If you just create a branch, called schema, and then commit that to your new branch, push the branch up to Git.
Yes, I'll do that, and then
create a pull request, and we'll merge a pull request. That's perfect.
Yeah, I'll do that then. That's okay.
Okay, guys. Anything else for the Scrum part? Oh, Friday night. So, are we gonna have a client meeting on Sunday?
Well, do we have what to show to the client?
I think the only thing, let me make sure that I'm saying correctly. So Brian's story is in code review, and I'd be really interested to talk to him about what he thinks about my proposal. And the other things, I guess Modism stuff, this is kind of now rolled in together with Craig's, but we need to review Craig's giant pull request before we can show that. And my story about orphan uniqueness, I doubt that there will be enough time for me to finish it and for them to review it before the client meeting.
Oh, well, there is no point.
Okay. All right then.
Okay. If you guys want, see you on America Scrum. Bye.
All right, Pavel. Have a good weekend.
Take care.
You
Yeah.
too.
All right, I'll stop